Companies always seek to improve performance, but how can they practically do it? This lecture is about company-specific production systems. Imagine you are the chief operating officer of a global company with many factories all over the world. How can you improve your production operations in multiple locations simultaneously? Taking inspiration from the immense success of the Toyota production system, a popular approach has been for global firms to develop their own company-specific production systems. In short, these can be referred to as XPS, where the X stands for the company name and PS for production system. Other variants, of course, also exist, like business system, operation system, performance system, or simply lean program or other names. Since the 1990s, the development of company-specific production systems has been an ongoing trend, in particular among global manufacturers. The trend spread from the original equipment manufacturers in automobile industries to their suppliers, to process industries, heavy vehicles and aircraft, medical industries, furniture, household appliances, food industries, and today even service companies like hospitals and public government agencies are developing and using their own company-specific production systems. Most of these systems are largely modeled on Lean and the Toyota production system, and therefore many companies simply refer to their systems as their Lean programs. However, note that company-specific production systems are tailored to the firm's need and context. Not all Lean principles and practices fit all companies and settings. And there are of course also other principles and practices outside Lean that can be helpful for improving the performance of a firm. Developing a company-specific production system is a strategic approach to improvement, which support the sharing of best practices in the network and the building of a culture of continuous improvement. This was the Volvo Group's Volvo production system a few years ago. It's a classic company-specific production system in the automobile industry. The resemblance with Toyota production system is easy to spot, with the two main pillars being built-in quality or Jidoka and just-in-time. Volvo also integrated the Volvo Way as a foundation and added two principles, teamwork and process stability. Just like for Toyota and Lean, the customer takes the central position, and their way to achieve operational excellence goes through continuous improvement. Each of these overarching principles are then broken down into a set of specific principles and practices that each factory in the Volvo Group are supposed to implement and follow. Countless firms have developed and deployed similar production systems over the last 3 decades. For example, Electrolux is serious about its Electrolux manufacturing system. John Deere has a 3-pillar John Deere quality and production system. The Virginia Mason Hospital in Seattle has for long used the reportedly successful Virginia Mason production system. And recently I worked with the Swiss company Dätwyler to develop its own Dätwyler production system. But not all companies develop a system that is unique for them. Some companies decide to subscribe to more general production systems. Some examples include the 30-year-old integrated quality model by Malcolm Baldrige, or the European Foundation for Quality Management, EFQM, or the 10-pillar world-class manufacturing system, developed as an extension of total productive maintenance by Professor Hajime Yamashina, and reportedly used by, among others, Chrysler, Fiat, and Barilla, or the more dynamic and updated Shingo model with its guiding principles. The advantage of picking from the shelf is of course that the company does not have to reinvent the wheel and use expensive resources and time on development. However, the disadvantages are risk of less ownership and commitment, and a system that does not resonate fully with the employees of the organization. Whatever strategy is chosen, having a production system is a good start towards systemic production improvement. But the hard part is to change the organization. Most lean programs tend to fade off after a few years. Some say every 2 out of 3 programs report disappointing results. The biggest challenge is to sustain senior and middle managers' commitment to the transformation. It can take several years before a lean program pays off, and it is difficult to connect gains to specific lean practices. As a result, complacency and impatience often develop long before a lean culture does. It is common that firms renew and restart the lean programs using different labels. That was a short introduction to company-specific production systems, or XPS. I am sure you will come across a few in your career.